You know, I thought about doing a episode review of the season premiere of The Leftovers, keep going into all 10 episodes so we get a full season review done. But before I do that, and if I do plan on doing a review of the new episode, I thought, what is it about The Leftovers that is such compelling television? This one gets overshadowed so much compared to a lot of the other shows we have coming out. It's only got 3 seasons, it just started its final season. But what is it that made the show so compelling and so intriguing for me? Why was I so enthralled every time I watched an episode? Why did I binge this episode just to get to the 3rd season? All these characters, everything about it. What was it that made me want to watch The Leftovers? And I will tell you why you should watch The Leftovers too. This is quality programming at its finest. It's on HBO. There's no other streaming service that could really handle a show like this, because it's everything that makes HBO such good content. It's mature, it's got a plot, it's got a storyline, it doesn't hold anything back, it goes for what it wants to be, and it is what it wants to be. The characters, every character in the show has their moment, and in the times when the story doesn't call for certain characters to be present, those characters aren't present. Like a lot of other shows we see, Thumb Sings on the CW, on ABC, a bunch of those shows, we have all of our main cast have to be prominent and present in every episode so we understand where the characters are, come the story and the episode, they have to be there. In The Leftovers, if a character isn't needed in a certain scene, in a certain episode, or in a certain part of the story, that character isn't there. There are characters that don't get overshadowed at all because they all serve different parts of the story. This is one overarching story that's told through multiple years, but 3 seasons. And so far, what we've seen is all these characters matter to the story, but they're in different parts of the story that matter. And it makes for a really great story and a really enthralling television. The characters, our main character of Kevin Garvey, isn't in every episode, and if he is in the episode and he's not playing a big role, he's a small part of it. He's such a great character, and Justin Theroux plays him, just knocks it out of the park. He's one of the main draws to this show for me because I don't know a lot about him as an actor. I've never seen him do a lot of stuff. Jennifer Aniston, he's married to. That's cool. That's a good way to get you interested in the guy. He knocks out of the park every episode he's in of this show. Why he was never nominated or anything for this show, it really makes me upset because, again, this show gets overshadowed so much compared to all the big blockbuster television like Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad at the time and The Walking Dead and all those shows. It's overshadowing this really great story. So I'm going to quickly talk about the story. We start off our whole season, the whole series of this show, we start off 2% of the population on Earth vanishes. We don't know where they go, what happens to them. They're called the Departed as the series goes on. 2%, that doesn't seem like a lot of people, but that's 140 million people just vanishing at once. Nobody knows what happens. And basically our whole premise is we see the aftermath of the people left on Earth, how they have to deal with this, the things that happen. And it doesn't take it in a way you'd expect. We're so used to these like big budget blockbuster series and stuff where things go crazy, and this isn't like The Walking Dead like that. You know, Walking Dead takes what's left of the humans, we fight, we're always like violent, and there's a lot of stuff going on. This has a clear storyline, and I like The Walking Dead. I do. I like it. It's a good show. That's all bullshit because The Walking Dead's terrible. This show, The Leftovers, the way it handles the events that happen, the way people die and all the aftermath, everything is done in such a believable way where there's certain benefits and programs set up to help people who've lost certain things. There's certain things that scientists do and certain things that religious people do and believe after these events that happen. Is this the rapture? Is this the end of the world? What is happening? There's so many things that are happening in the show that's so believable, and it's done in such a way that feels real, it feels natural, that you're just so enthralled by. And one of the best parts of the show, besides Justin Theroux, is Carrie Coon. Why is this girl not a superstar? She's just incredible in every performance. She plays one of their main characters, Nora Durst. I will tell you right now, she loses some significant people in her life as the event of The Departed on the certain day, October 14th. She is such a presence on screen. She is so believable in every performance and in everything she does. You can tell in every scene she's holding back her emotion, she's holding back her pain, but she just presents it on such a brave face that's so believable, and everything that happens with her is so great. And we have some really intriguing villains in here too, with the Guilty Remnant. They're such an interesting cult-like thing that is believable to happen in a world like this. And then when we get to season 2, the town we visit and what happens in that town and how people deal with the effects of what's happening there, everything about this is so believable, down to the characters and how they act with the certain events that happen to them. And the way this thing deals with religion, and that's one of the things I have to give to the showrunner, because I think he worked on Lost. I can't remember his name, but somebody that worked on the show, big presence on Lost. He has this way about him where he doesn't just give off religion. You know, he's not just spewing religion at you, but he handles religion in such a way that's fascinating to watch and an interesting thing to handle. This show just makes you think so much, and such a compelling story about characters and about people you know, people you understand, and it handles it in such a real way that we haven't seen on TV before. And I think this is definitely worth binging. I remember I watched the first episode a couple weeks ago because I wanted to watch the third season. I've been hearing really good things, but I put it off. And when I watched it, I wanted to watch the next episode right away. The characters are so compelling. The family angle of everything. Everything about this is about family in such a strong and interesting way. It's so great to see on screen. And the way that the camera moves. I'm somebody who is kind of a cinephile, and I always watch this kind of things. I listen to the dialogue, the way the characters portray the dialogue, the way the camera moves, the lighting, the sound. And I have to say, the way the camera moves in this, the directing in a lot of the episodes, it's so incredible. Because the camera, it doesn't just stay motionary, which you can see a lot happening in a lot of shows. But the way this one moves, it's almost like it's its own character, its own person. The way it handles things in the sky, or it handles things to the side. It's just so unique. It's so breathtaking to see. It's such a fresh, just something fresh I haven't seen before. And it's so compelling for me. And if you haven't watched it, or if you have, and you're just like, well, let's talk about why it's good. You know why the show is good. And if you haven't seen it, you have to go watch the show. Everything about it is so compelling. It's got a Doctor Who guy. I don't like Doctor Who, but that guy, Christopher Eccleston, I think is what his name is. He plays such a compelling character. And I've been impressed with everything I've seen from him in all of these seasons. His character, I think, could have just come off of one note. But the way they handled him, he doesn't change throughout the seasons. It's not like a big character change for him or a dramatic reveal where he's kind of like acting a different way. But he just handles himself with such dignity and respect to everyone around him and to himself that I think it really gives the character something different we haven't seen. Liv Tyler, who is probably one of the characters in the show, I think is the weakest, but she still handles herself such grace and such presence. And everyone has a presence on screen. Everything that happens with the characters, the way certain things we learn with the animals and stuff like that happening, and the way, is God involved or is God not involved, and the way they deal with death and all these different things. This show is so smart and it's so unbelievable, and I gotta give a big props to whoever chooses the music, because the way that this show uses music and handles all the music stuff, it's unbelievable. The music is so great in this show, it's so great in this series. It handles itself so great. This is the show that I've been wanting to watch on television for a long time, and I'm so glad we have. I'm not going to say it's my favorite show out there, but it's definitely in my top 10 of all time, because it handles itself with respect. It knows what it's trying to be. It's not trying to stretch out its story. It's not going to try and tell you something that's not there. It's handling itself with class. It's telling something that's believable. Everything that's happening makes sense for the world we're in, and I believe everything that is happening. The characters are all relatable. They're people you know. They're people you understand and respect. The characters themselves are intriguing. The directing, the music, the sound, everything is believable. The way it handles religion and philosophy and even science to some angles. Carrie Coon is astonishing. Everything about this series is just worth checking out, because there's nothing like it on television that's this smart, that's just intriguing, that's so well put together that every episode just makes sense for the story we're trying to tell, and it's believable. And it's on HBO. This isn't a show that's hard to watch on like a Showtime or a Starz. It's HBO, and yet it still gets undershadowed by certain things. It's just an incredible show, and I think you should check it out. I really do. So, those are my reasons why you should check out The Leftovers on HBO. They're incredible. It's such an incredible show. I'm not going to keep gushing about it. Let me know what you think of The Leftovers if you've watched it. And if you haven't, let me know what you think. Go check out the first episode. It's highly worth your time. And I will catch you in the next video. Good luck.